AITA for exposing my wife's affair during her dad's birthday toast? So, this story feels like a soap opera. I wish it wasn't real. I, 35 million, have been married to my wife, Claire, 34 feet, for 7 years. No kids yet, just our dog Winston and a mortgage. She works in marketing, I'm in IT. Pretty standard life. 6 months ago, Claire started acting off. She was working late more, glued to her phone. Suddenly had a work husband named Bryce, who she claimed was gay. Spoiler alert, he's not. My gut was screaming, but whenever I brought it up, she'd get defensive or start crying about how I didn't trust her. I didn't want to be that guy, so I let it go. Fast forward to last month. Claire leaves her iPad at home and it starts blowing up with texts. Curiosity got the better of me. I checked it. What I saw could power 10 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. Explicit messages, pictures, plans to get a hotel after her dad's birthday dinner, which I was supposed to attend. One message literally said, "Can't wait to get out of dinner with my husband so I can finally see you." I was shaking. I felt nauseous, and then I did something a little unhinged. I screenshotted everything, sent it to myself, and pretended like I hadn't seen a thing, but I wasn't about to let it go quietly. Claire's dad, Tom, is a sweet old school guy, loves his family, big into speeches and toasts. At his 65th birthday dinner in front of about 30 people, family, friends, even her boss, I stood up to give a toast. I said, "Here's to Tom, who taught me what loyalty and integrity look like, things I wish I saw more of in my own marriage." Everyone laughed nervously. Claire gave me the look. I kept going. "Tom, I hope one day I can be half the man you are. Because your daughter has been cheating on me for months with Bryce from work, who is very much not gay, and they had plans to hook up after this dinner." Dead. Silence. Claire gasped. Her mom dropped her fork. Her boss choked on his wine. Then Tom stood up, glared at Claire, and walked out. I left too, drove home, packed a bag, and went to stay with my brother. Now Claire's entire family is split. Some say I humiliated her publicly and should have handled it privately. Others say she got what she deserved. She's blowing up my phone begging me to come home and talk like adults, but I feel like I already tried that, and she made her choice. So Reddit? Am I the asshole for blowing up my wife's affair during her dad's birthday toast? Update 1. Did not expect this much attention. Thanks for all the awards and DMS. Some of you are hilarious, others slightly terrifying. Anyway, here's what's happened. Claire tried to get ahead of the story by calling her family and saying I misunderstood her relationship with Bryce. Bad move. I had receipts. I sent them to Tom and Claire's mom. They both apologized to me. Bryce is apparently engaged. His fiancée found out through my toast. Her cousin was at the party. They're done. She messaged me and said, "Thank you for saving me a divorce 10 years down the road." Claire finally admitted everything and tried to frame it as emotional neglect on my part. I won't pretend I was the perfect husband. I work a lot, and I'm not the romantic type. But I never cheated. Ever. I told her we're done. I'm filing. She cried, said, "You're blowing up our life over a mistake." I said, "You lit the match, babe." I just held up a mirror. I'm moving forward, lawyered up. Winston, the dog, is with me. He knows who the real MVP is. Update 2. Somehow, things have gotten even wilder. Claire showed up at my office. Yes, at my office. She asked to talk. I said no. She started crying in the lobby, telling my coworkers I was abandoning our marriage and that she was fighting for us. Security had to escort her out. Later that night, she texted me saying she was feeling unsafe and might need to file for spousal support to maintain her standard of living. Ma'am, you cheated. On the record. With evidence. Try again. I blocked her. Next day, she posted a sob story on Facebook about how I emotionally abused her into someone else's arms. Her family wasn't having it. Her own sister commented, "Girl, just stop." We all saw the screenshots. The divorce is in motion. I'm not dragging my feet. I want out. No alimony, no reconciliation, just clean break. She can have the air fryer. I'm keeping Winston and the PS5. Final update. A few months later. Divorce finalized. She didn't fight it. Probably because her job found out about the affair, her boss was at the dinner, and she got let go for unrelated reasons. Wink, wink. She moved back in with her parents. I'm still in the apartment, but I redecorated. Took down all the couple photos and replaced them with dog portraits and vintage horror movie posters. Winston approves. I'm not bitter, surprisingly. Just tired. Grateful, honestly. I dodged a much bigger bullet. Imagine if this happened after kids. So, am I the asshole? Not sure. Petty? Yeah. Dramatic? Definitely. But wrong? Not for a second.
AITA for ruining my sister's wedding by revealing her secret child to her new husband. Hi Reddit. Buckle up, this ride is a mess on fire. I, 28M, have an older sister, Emily, 32F, who just got married last weekend to a guy named Mark, 35M. Mark is chill, very straight-laced, super family-oriented, the type who talks about starting a college fund before the proposal. We're not super close, but he's been good to Emily, so I respected the guy. Now here's the nuclear core of this story. Emily has a 10-year-old son. Yep, a whole human child. Only a select few people in our family know. She had him at 22 while studying abroad in Spain. The father didn't want to be involved, and she gave full custody to our aunt, who lives in another state. The kid, Leo, visits occasionally and just thinks Emily is his cool older cousin. Her reasoning? Having a child would ruin my image and career. It was always framed as temporary. But years passed, and Emily never told a soul outside the inner circle. Mark included. I begged her, to tell him before the wedding. I said, "You can't build a marriage on a lie that big." She always deflected with, "It's none of your business," or "He doesn't need to know. I'm not his mother, technically." So I made a decision. A terrible, dramatic decision that Reddit will probably roast me for. At the wedding reception, I gave a toast. Started off nice. Then I said, "I want to raise a glass to Emily, who's always been great with kids, especially Leo, her son." Silence. Pure, paralyzing silence. Emily's face turned gray. Mark looked like someone unplugged his soul. Her friends looked around in confusion. My mom dropped her fork. Then the chaos hit. Emily stormed off. Mark followed, asking her if it was a joke. Guests murmured. One of her bridesmaids asked me if I was on drugs. Emily's best friend screamed at me for being a jealous little brother who couldn't handle her happiness. Here's the kicker. Mark left the hotel that night. They never went on their honeymoon. I don't know the exact fallout because Emily blocked me on everything. My parents are furious. My aunt, Leo's guardian, is torn. She agrees it should have come out, but not like that. I feel like trash. But also, I couldn't let her keep lying. Not forever. So, Reddit, am I the a-hole for blowing up my sister's secret at her wedding? Or was the truth worth the wreckage? Update number 1. Wow, didn't expect this to blow up. Okay, here's some updates. Mark definitely didn't know. He thought Leo was a cousin and is re-evaluating the entire relationship, according to my cousin who spoke to him. Emily is still staying at my parents' house. She hasn't contacted me, but she did unblock me on Instagram, which is probably just to snoop. I wrote Mark a long apology, not for exposing the truth, but for the way I did it. Haven't heard back. My mom now admits Emily should have told him, but she's still mad I weaponized the truth. Fair enough. Leo still doesn't know a thing, and my aunt wants to keep it that way, for now. Was it a nuclear option? Yep. Do I regret the timing? Also, yes. But the lie was rotting, and I lit the match.
AITA for getting my coworker fired after she kept trying to prove my service dog is fake? I, 28F, have a medical alert service dog named Buddy, and he's saved my life more times than I can count. I have a serious heart condition that causes me to pass out without warning, and Buddy can sense it before it happens. He alerts me by pawing at me, whining, or even nudging me until I sit down. He's more than just a companion. He's literally saved me from passing out in public multiple times, including once at a coffee shop where I collapsed in front of a crowd. I recently started a new office job 3 months ago, and things were going well, until Karen, 38F, came into the picture. At first, it was small comments, like her loudly saying, "Pets aren't allowed in the office," whenever Buddy and I walked by. I explained that Buddy is a service dog, not a pet, and I even showed her his documentation. She seemed unimpressed and just muttered something like, "Well, whatever." Things only got worse. Karen would make remarks like, "You don't look disabled," or "You don't act sick, so you must be faking it." She made these comments loudly enough for others to hear. I tried to ignore it at first, but it kept happening. Eventually, I mentioned it to my supervisor, but nothing changed. I was becoming more and more anxious going into work because I never knew when her next comment or attack would come. Then, Karen took it to a whole new level. She would try to test Buddy by dropping food near him, hoping he'd break his training. Buddy is well trained to ignore food, unless I tell him to get it, so he just sat there, unfazed. But Karen didn't give up. Every time I caught her doing this, I calmly explained that Buddy is a working service dog, and she shouldn't try to distract him. But it only seemed to fuel her obsession. Things really started getting dangerous when Karen started wearing strong perfumes and spraying air fresheners around my desk. I have severe sensitivity to chemicals and fragrances due to my heart condition, and it triggers my symptoms. Buddy could sense my condition getting worse, so he'd alert me, pawing at me and whining until I got up to walk around to prevent a collapse. But Karen didn't care. She kept doing it. One day, I had 3 separate episodes where Buddy had to alert me because of the overwhelming perfume she sprayed near me. It wasn't just an inconvenience anymore. She was actively putting my health at risk. Buddy had warned me before a few times, but this was different. My condition was becoming unpredictable, and I started feeling dizzy and lightheaded. I couldn't concentrate. It felt like she was doing this on purpose, and I was terrified that one day I wouldn't catch the symptoms in time to avoid passing out. But the absolute breaking point came when I found out that Karen had been secretly taking photos of me and Buddy at work and posting them in a Facebook group dedicated to exposing fake service dogs. She even included my full name and workplace, asking people for advice on how to reveal me for faking a disability. I was horrified. I had no idea who was in this group, but the thought of random strangers online discussing my private medical condition and humiliating me made my stomach churn. I took screenshots of everything, her posts, her comments, the photos of me and Buddy, and I brought it all to HR. They immediately launched an investigation, and within 24 hours, Karen was fired for harassment and creating a hostile work environment. But now the fallout has been brutal. My inbox is flooded with messages from Karen's friends, family, and even some coworkers who are defending her. They all say I'm the asshole for getting a mother of 2 fired over a dog, and that I should have just worked from home if I'm so sick. Some people are even telling me I should have sucked it up, instead of making it a big deal. One of her close friends messaged me, saying, "You ruined her life over a dog. She was just concerned about you faking it." I feel awful. I genuinely didn't want to get anyone fired, especially not someone with kids. But at the same time, Karen put my health at risk and humiliated me online. I'm still processing the whole thing, but I keep wondering if I went too far. So Reddit AITA? I just want to clarify a few things since people are asking for more details. Buddy isn't just a regular dog. He's professionally trained to alert me before I pass out. His training involves tasks like blocking me from doors if I collapse, or alerting my family members if I'm unresponsive. He's critical to my safety, and his presence at work is not just a comfort. Karen knew about my condition and continued to harass me despite repeated explanations. I tried to be patient at first, but her behavior kept escalating. To those suggesting I work from home or just ignore her, that's not realistic. I need to be present at my job for my career, and I can't just hide in my home when it's physically unsafe. Edit number 2. I've been reflecting a lot on the situation, and I can't deny that I feel bad for Karen's kids. They're innocent in this, and I hate that they're caught up in her mess. I've received messages from a few coworkers who think I handled the situation poorly, but I've also had others say that I did the right thing. I'm still in contact with HR and have been reassured that they're taking my concerns seriously. Again, I didn't want anyone to lose their job, but I didn't know what else to do. I had to choose between my health and someone else's actions that were actively putting me at risk. I'm just hoping I can move forward with my life and not have this hanging over me. What do you think, AITA?